I've fallen and I can't get up. This phrase, or this scene from Life Alert commercial, is a very real concern for older adults. They're afraid they'll fall and either they don't have the strength to get up or they'll hurt themselves and they can't get up. Physically, they did not arrive at that point overnight. It is something they came to gradually. That is why I'm saying everybody should be exercising at least 15 minutes a day so that they can maintain their mobility and balance and keep their independence as they get older. Now, I'm not just saying this because everybody's saying you need to exercise. When I was a teenager, I had severe back pain. It would immobilize me for a couple days at a time. As I got older, it got worse. It got more frequent. I did not like the course it was getting. But today, I do not have back pain, and exercise is what has made the difference in my life. Now, you may be wondering, why am I focusing on mobility and balance? Why 15 minutes? Where did that come from? And how are you going to keep up doing 15 minutes a day? I will answer all those questions today. First, why mobility and balance? Why not weight? Why not cholesterol, blood pressure? Those are a lot of good things. People talk about them a lot. But mobility and balance is something that we tend to focus on when you are an older adult. But if you wait until then to look at your mobility and balance, it may be really difficult to reverse the course that your life is already headed. So, the National Institute on Aging, the National Institute of Mental Health, they're doing a study in Baltimore. It's a long-term study over the course of 60, 70 years. They've been collecting data on people in Baltimore, and part of that is collecting when they fall and why they fall. They've collected that information, grouped it into age groups. They have young adults, middle-aged, and then there are older adults. And what they found over the course of the year, 18% of the young adults fell. And most of them were doing sports or some sort of exercise when they fell. You get to middle age, about 21% of them fell, a little more. But the primary activity they were doing is walking, just everyday walking. Now, you get to the older adults, it jumps up to 34% of them were falling. And again, the primary activity that they were doing is walking. Now, let's look at what is causing them to fall. Across all age groups, the number one reason for falling is a loss of balance. This red line indicates how many people were losing balance in each age group. And what I want you to notice is how the line increases as you get older. But not just increasing, between middle age and older adults, there's a much bigger jump than going from young adult to middle adult. So the loss of balance increases much more rapidly the older you get. This is consistent with findings that Laura Talbot and other health professionals did in a study on how people fall and what's conditions around them falling. And they have found that people in this middle age group, they start becoming less active. Their falls start to increase. And the National Institute on Aging has said mobility and balance is something that we lose as we get older. It's natural, it is unavoidable. But physical activity is directly related to how fast it changes. So why am I looking at falling? Well, you fall when you are young, you'll recover pretty quickly. Middle age, it'll take you a little longer. But if you fall when you are older, it can take you a lot longer, or you might permanently be limited in your mobility because of a fall. So avoiding falls is one of the ways to improve your mobility. And avoiding falls, you need to improve your balance, and that comes with exercise. Now, why 15 minutes a day? The Department of Health and Human Services recommends people should have at least 30 minutes of exercise a day. 15 minutes is only half of that. but 15 minutes is a lot easier to fit into your schedule than 30 minutes. And back in 2011, a Taiwan study showed that people who exercise at least 15 minutes a day had, on average, 3 years longer lifespan. Everyone was interested in this study because 15 minutes, that's easy to do. Anybody can do that. In 15 minutes, it is, I don't know if you say it's easy to do, but it is something you can fit into even a busy schedule. Now, how are you going to pull off doing 15 minutes every day for the rest of your life? That is a really long time. Well, in the book, Think Small. This book is about making small changes every day to result in big changes over a lifetime. In this book, the authors say to make change consistent, it needs to become a habit. And to create a habit, you need 3 things. The first thing you need is a trigger. For example, when you go into a movie theater, a hunger for popcorn is triggered because you always eat popcorn when you go to movie theaters. When it comes to exercise, that may mean exercising at the same time every day. For me, I exercise in the morning. I wake up, that triggers, it's exercise time. Next thing you need is a routine to follow. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I put on my exercise clothes. I go set up for exercise. I follow the routine that I have. The third thing you need to create a habit is repetition. The trigger happens, you consciously follow the routine over and over. Trigger, consciously follow. Over time, it takes less conscious effort to follow routine. It just becomes a habit that you do over and over again. So, to recap, exercise helps maintain our mobility and balance and physical ability as we get older and reduces this loss of balance that we see. Also, 15 minutes. It's not a long time. It can be fit into even a busy schedule. And the key to keeping or making change is consistency. Little by little, over a lifetime, turning that into a habit that you can follow. Now, one day you will become a senior citizen. And when that day arrives, what condition do you want yourself to be in? The habits that you form today will determine the shape you will be in when you become a senior citizen. So you need to ask yourself, what condition do I want to be in? And make the choices today so that that can be a reality.